O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Welcome to our Remembrance Day ceremony. Remembrance Day is observed on the 11th of November, which is the anniversary of the end of the First World War. Fighting formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. Veterans Affairs Canada states that the Remembrance Day is intended for remembrance for the women and men who have served and continue to serve our country during the times of war, conflict, and peace, particularly the First and Second World Wars, the Korean War, and conflicts since then in which members of the Canadian Armed Forces have participated.
The poem "In Flanders Fields" was first published in December 1915. It was written by John McCrae, a Canadian doctor who served in the First World War. Dr. McCrae was born in Guelph, Ontario. His house is now a museum. In May 1915, one of Dr. John McCrae's closest friends was killed in the trenches in Belgium. His friend was buried in a humble grave with a simple wooden cross. Dr. McCrae wrote this poem to honor his friend's memory. In part because of the poem's popularity, the poppy was adopted as the flower of remembrance.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
In Brampton, one of the ways that we remember our veterans is with the Veterans Banner program. The banners are a tribute to veterans who have a connection to Brampton. They are hung on the street lamppost of downtown Brampton. Veterans who have served from World War I to the present day are found on the banner. Some banners have people still actively serving in Canada's military. 10 new banners are added each year to honor our veterans.
One important member of the armed forces that we wanted to honor today was Francis Pegamagabo. He was born in Shawnage First Nation near Parry Sound, Ontario. He is known as the most effective sniper of the First World War. In April 1915, Pegamagabo fought in the Second Battle of Ypres. He received the military medal for carrying messages along the lines during these two battles. On November 6 and 7, 1917, Pegamagabo earned the bar for his military medal at Passchendaele. When the battalion's reinforcements became lost, Pegamagabo guided them to the correct location. On August 30th, 1918, during the Battle of the Scarpe, Pegamagabo braved heavy machine gun fire and went into no man's land to bring back as much needed ammunition. He was the most highly decorated Indigenous soldier in Canada. He was awarded the 1914 to 1915 Star, the British War Medal, and the Victory Medal. After the war, Pegamagabo became a leading advocate for Indigenous rights in Canada. A memorial to Francis Pegamagabo stands in Parry Sound, Ontario.
Another member of the Canadian Armed Forces that we wanted to honor was Marguerite Downs. She started her career in 1955 as a driver with the Royal Canadian Army Services Corps in the Halifax and transferred to the Toronto Reserves in 1956. She was promoted to the Highland Greek Cadet Corps and became the Deputy Commanding Officer. Through over 45 years of service in the reserves, she became the first black female member of the Royal Canadian Military Institute. She was awarded, among many other awards, the Order of the Military Merit, one of the highest military awards available. She died at the age of 70 in 2009 as the highest-ranking black female officer in the Canadian Armed Forces Reserves in Ontario.
Another soldier we would like to honor is Buckham Singh. During World War I, he was one of the very first Sikh soldiers to serve Canada. Despite the forced separation from his family due to immigration restriction, Buckham Singh enlisted to fight the First World War in 1915. He was wounded twice during separate battles and died on August 27, 1919, in Kitchener, Ontario. Buckham Singh was respectfully buried by the Canadian military and laid to rest with full honors.
We would also like to honor Private Hussein Ahmad. Ahmad was originally from Singapore and is believed to be one of 22 Muslim soldiers to serve for Canada in the First World War. Ahmad was deployed to France with the 1st Canadian Infantry Battalion out of London. Private Hussein Ahmad was 23 years old when he died during the Battle of Hill 70 during World War I. Ahmad has no known grave, but his name is listed on the Women Memorial.
Au champ d'honneur des coquelicots sont passemés de l'eau en l'eau. Au plat des croix et dans l'espace, les alouettes devenues lancées. Mon lanchant au sifflement des obusés. Nous sommes morts, nous songions la vie encore, à nos parents, à nos amis. C'est nous qui restons ici, au champ d'honneur. À vous joints des abusés, à vous de la porte, leur femme, et d'en garder au fond de l'âme le goût de vivre en liberté. Accepte le défi, sinon les coquelicots se fanent à l'eau au champ d'honneur.
Brampton has many memorials to our veterans. The Brampton Cenotaph stands in Memorial Square beside City Hall. It was built in 1928 to honor those who served and died in the First and Second World Wars, as well as the Korean War. The symbols in the monument refer to service, sacrifice, and victory. The veteran statue is currently located in Gage Park. The veteran can look upon the cenotaph in remembrance of those who didn't return from their service. The wood statue is modeled on William George Bettridge, World War II veteran and a member of the Queen's Own Rifles. Bettridge was born in 1921 and grew up in Brampton and enlisted with the Lorne Scots in June 1940. He was a sniper and scout. In 1944, he was one of the troops that landed on Juno Beach on D-Day. The statue is dedicated to all veterans of Brampton.
Je les aide. La guerre se tue une autre, mais encore je les aide. Un soldat s'affaiblit sur mes mains, mais encore je les aide. Il y a du sang sur mes mains. Il n'appartient pas à moi, mais encore je les aide. Le son de guerre subsiste dans mes oreilles, mais encore je les aide. Les images de mon petit-fils remplissent ma tête. Encore trop jeune, mais volé de la monde trop. Il est pourquoi je les aide.
Korean War Memorial. Veterans Affairs Canada lists 6 wars and conflicts in which Canada has participated. They are the First World War from 1914 to 1918, the Second World War from 1939 to 1945, the Korean War from 1950 to 1953, the Gulf War from 1990 to 1991, Afghanistan from 2001 to 2014, and the Canadian and international peacekeeping.
A monument for one of these conflicts is found in Brampton. The Korean War Memorial is located in Meadowvale Cemetery. In total, 26,791 Canadians served in the Korean War, and approximately 7,000 continued to serve between the ceasefire and end of 1955. The Wall of Remembrance is about 200 feet long and is about 2 feet high. It has a plaque with the names of the 516 Canadians who died. The Korean Veterans Association of Canada dedicated the wall on July 27, 1997.
Part of the famous poem For the Fallen by Lawrence Bignon is found on the monument. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
Our own school has one of the memorials from Brampton's military history. During the World Wars, many high schools created honor rolls to remember their students and teachers who died overseas. In Brampton, the high school at the time made memorial plaques for World War I and II. When Brampton Centennial was built to replace the old high school, the war honor rolls were saved and brought to our front foyer.
Since 2007, a portion of the 401 highway between Trenton and Toronto has been designated the Highway of Heroes. The route is traveled by funeral convoys for fallen Canadian Forces personnel from CFB Trenton to the coroner's office. The band, The Trews, wrote the song Highway of Heroes in 2016. It was inspired by the 2006 death of Captain Nicola Godard, the first Canadian female soldier killed in Afghanistan and a schoolmate of members of the Trews.
The day I shipped out, they numbered a dozen. Upon my return, we're 100 or so, from the coast and from the prairies. I bet they keep coming. Add one more name from Ontario and carry me home down the highway of heroes. People above with the flags flying low. Carry me softly down the highway of heroes. True patriot love, there was never more. I served with distinction, no visions of glory. I served without question, a personal gain. Seek no justification, it's not part of my story, and it offers no comfort to the ones who remain. Just carry me home down the highway of heroes. People above, the flags flying low. There was never more. Took up my vocation, I was called by my nation without hesitation. My answer I gave. Now I'm not wondering the things that I might have been, are no consolation to the forgotten brave. So carry me home down the highway of heroes. People above with the flags flying.